Bible Club, and that's what gifts are about. I couldn't have done this last week without you guys. I'm really pleased. The majority of my help came from you guys, and that's awesome. The people who somehow managed to avoid the cameras, and they were the people who did the morning tea and the registration and the things that no one sees. And you didn't see the people in Penrith who took scraps of wood and straws and bits of string and cut them all up to the right size and put them in packs, and did it all by volunteers, so that we could have ships for like $1.35 each that the kids could build. So there are many gifts. Do you know the gift that I'm happiest with that I have? It's the one I keep trying to improve. Any guesses? Patience. I am constantly trying to improve that one, but I don't think that I'm the best at that.
Preaching.
No. Encouragement. I think that's what I do well. It's one I want to continue to grow in, so that I can make you guys more encouraged about what you do. I'm really excited by you guys. I am really excited because I see such potential. I see such huge gifting, such amazing giftedness, and I see love. You guys have got to work on it, but I see it. But mostly I'm excited about the way you guys serve. I want you to continue to serve and continue to love and seeking to love one another. See, I started talking about individualism. There's no I in team. There's no I in church either. We have unity in diversity. I'm really glad that worked out, because that would have stunk. Mm-hmm. There is no I in church. We are unified because we are different, and that's what makes us work. Imagine if we were all preachers. Imagine if we were all leaders. Imagine if we were all music singers, leaders. I mean, we're half of us are musos, which is just a function of our size. I'm really pleased with where we're going. I obviously see room for growth, but that's not to say that I don't see wonderful things. And if I was to take pride in anything, it would be in the way that you guys serve. So, do you have questions? Thank you, Jean. That's your gift. and you use it so well.
You have other gifts too.
Verse 31 of 1 Corinthians 12.
Yeah.
So after you talk about all these things, he says, but strive for the greater gifts.
Yes.
Is that related to the gift of love?
It's the connection.
No.
See, what Paul says is, not everyone is an apostle, not everyone's a teacher, not everyone's a preacher, not everyone's a healer, etc. But there's something that everyone can do, love. Okay? That's the whole point that he's making. And the thing is that the Corinthian church were using their gifts selfishly. And so when you get into 1 Corinthians 14, and Paul starts talking about tongue speaking as his example, they'd just be idiots with it, and they're not all thinking about each other. When the issue of gifts comes up, it's often centered around me, what I can do. And Paul says, but that's not the point. The point is love and to build others rather than yourself. And the beauty of that is, if you're in a church and everyone's building each other, well, you get built. You get improved. You get to be encouraged because everyone's encouraging. Yes, Nick?
I'm confused exactly what speaking in tongues is.
A lot of people are. So, and this is one of the lines that people say it's finished. So in Acts chapter 2, when the Holy Spirit comes on the day of Pentecost, the apostles go out and they speak in tongues, right? And then everyone is able to understand what they're saying, even though they all have different languages. In Acts chapter 10, let me go through it. Acts chapter 10 is when the Romans, let's say Cornelius, starts speaking in tongues, and his family. And we're not told what language that is, if it's one that's understood by the disciples, by Peter, or if it's just another language. And then in Samaria, so let me get this right. Here we go. Acts chapter 8, is it? Let me get this right. Yeah, so Acts chapter 8, verse 15. 16. It doesn't talk about speaking in tongues. Sorry, this is what happens when you get me. Anyway, so there's 4 occurrences in the book of Acts where people speak in tongues. In Jerusalem, in Samaria, in the house of a Gentile, and then in chapter 19, it is with the disciples of John the Baptist, who didn't know about the Holy Spirit, and they're in Ephesus at the time. Now, we're not given much description, aside from Acts chapter 2, about what it is. But then in 1 Corinthians, it is clearly different to Acts 2, because you need to have someone interpret the language that you're speaking. Right? All we know, aside from that, is that the word is glossolalia, which means speak in tongues. There's a lot of speculation about whether people are speaking an unknown language, like as Paul says, if I speak in tongues of mortals or angels. So, which obviously there was some of that. Or if, and this is something that people have spoken of, where people get the ability to speak another human language. What occurs most of the time in charismatic churches in Western society is a language that no one understands. And the vast majority of tongue speaking is not interpreted, so it's violating 1 Corinthians 14.
Yeah.
So for example, I'll get this guy's name right, Matt Chandler, who so he's got this massive church in Houston, sorry, in Dallas, right? And he says, I'm a continuationist, I believe that the gifts continue to be given. And someone said, has anyone spoken in tongues in your church?